Alright. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we have a very special guest. We have Wietse Wind, and we're going to discuss XRP development. As you know, this channel is all about programming on blockchains, programming on digital ledger technologies, DLT, as our friends in the corporate world normally say. But today we're going to focus on XRP specifically. Hopefully we can see some demos, hopefully we can see some libraries, hopefully we can see some hello worlds here with Wietse. But Wietse, big welcome to the show, and please tell us first what you do. How you got into XRP development? And why XRP development? I think it's very special that you do XRP development. I don't know a lot of people that build on XRP, but it's fantastic that that we have you here to explain how this whole ecosystem works.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, so I am here in Amersfoort, the Netherlands, with a small team called XRP Labs, and we work full-time on XRP Ledger related tools, libraries, an application, an amendment to possibly add smart contract features to the XRPL. So we're developing like the user-facing side, the libraries for other developers, and even possibly things that will change or add features to the XRPL. And we are doing this since 2017-18 with a small team. We're with 9 people now. And our primary product is Sum, a platform for developers and a wallet for end users to use the XRPL and tokens on the XRPL, send payments, etc., etc. But all the things we develop for our own products are fully open source, and so we build a lot of libraries as well for other devs to use. So I can show you how to work with them today.
That's fantastic, and we will get into that. But first, why did you choose to work in the XRP space? Because of course in 2017 you had the Ethereum, you had the Tron at that time, EOS, so much popping up. So why did you select this particular niche?
Well, one thing I was looking for when I was looking at different blockchain technologies is how easy it is for developers to interact with it. Another thing is speed, and finally cost, transaction fees. And we were really interested in the use for real-life payments, so blockchain for real-life payments, cross-currency payments, fast payments. And if I want to make a payment, let's say retail payments, I'm in a store and I want to pay, or online payments, I want to pay on a web shop, I don't want to wait even a minute for transaction confirmations. I want to pay and maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds later get a confirmation that my payment went through. I want that to be really cheap, and I want it to be cross-currency with almost no fees. And all of those things can be found in the XRP Ledger with 4-second transaction confirmation, so 4-second ledger close time. Really low fees, so 0.00012 drops in XRP, so that's almost nothing. And it's really easy for developers to interact with the XRP Ledger. You can either run your own node, which is as easy as running a Docker container or installing a package, or you can use one of the existing public nodes. There are quite there's a lot of capacity available operated by the XRP Ledger Foundation, and all you need is a WebSocket to connect to, and you can basically do everything you want on the XRPL. Get transaction information, sign transactions locally, and broadcast them to the network. And then 4 seconds later, you get transaction confirmation finality. So that's really interesting for real life use cases, and easy for developers to build on top of.
And so in the Ethereum ecosystem, we expect the user to have a wallet. You have MetaMask, you sign transaction, you interact with the dapp. Is that also something you assume in the XRP, or is this more for backend? You know, that if I build some kind of app, I use this technology on my backend, but my users, maybe they just use, you know, web email and password login, or is this where users also have their own XRP wallet that they need to use in order to interact with? What is the most common case?
I don't think there's one case more common than the other. You can use the XRPL fully non-custodial, where you hold your own keys. That's actually what we like. I mean, we build a non-custodial wallet to allow users to do that, exactly that. But also, if you are building, let's say, a payments platform, some infrastructure, it makes perfect sense to use the XRPL under the hood and have one custodial account for your users. But of course, in most jurisdictions, that's something you need a license for. So we are working here on the non-custodial perspective. All our libraries assume that you're building a non-custodial product as well, where the user holds their own keys. There's one big difference with how that works on most other blockchains. The XRP Ledger has the account reserve, where you can just create a key pair. So create a new account in MetaMask or any other app or wallet you use, and then immediately use it with zero balance. You receive something, you can spend it again. The XRP Ledger has an account reserve, which means that there's some value to the fact that you own the key pair and you want to use the key pair on the XRPL. So when you generate a wallet, you have a requirement of at least 20 XRP balance in your wallet to be able to use it. So the first 20 XRP you deposit into your account on the XRP Ledger is basically locked as a deposit to hold the account on the XRPL. So let's say you want to be able to send 10 XRP to someone else, you need to deposit at least 30 XRP to your wallet because you can't spend 20 and then 10 you can use. That is something the network, the decentralized network, the operators or validators can vote on. And we validator operators, I operate a validator myself, are currently voting for lowering this reserve to 10 XRP.
Got it. But so you say that you have your own wallet that you've built and open sourced for, like MetaMask, correct?
Yeah, basically like that, but mobile only. Yeah.
Mobile on. All right. And so if I'm building some kind of website or some kind of app, what kind of library would I be using to interact with the blockchain through my web app or mobile app?
Yeah, so if you want to do this, if you want to build this yourself and not rely on existing trusted signing methods like our own application, so you just want to do local signing, there are libraries provided by Ripple and other community members to do this in different programming languages, but we focus on JavaScript and TypeScript here. And so one of the libraries you could use is this one, XRPL account lib. It's an npm package combined with XRPL client. Another npm package. I will show you what's in it. So when you are coding in Node, JavaScript, TypeScript, you can import these packages. And like the first thing you want to do is connect to a node on the XRPL, right? Or you want to generate the account first, but let's start with connecting to a node. So you import the XRPL client, you set up the client, you can specify your own node endpoints, but it will fall back to a public one that's offered by the XRP Ledger Foundation. If that one isn't available, which never happens, but then it falls back to a node operated by Ripple. Again, you can use your own node. And then when you have a connection, you can send comments to the XRP Ledger, and within a fraction of a second, you get a response. And a comment can be like, hey, get me the state of an account, the balance, or get me all the transactions for a specific account, or get me the status for this transaction hash. Or can you please broadcast this transaction that I already locally signed to the network? And this local signing, you can do that with the XRPL account lib, where let's say you have a secret, you derive a account, and then you can sign a transaction. And I can show you what it looks like in code. And this library actually supports the family seed secret type, which is pretty common on the XRPL, but it also supports hex private keys. It supports mnemonics and secret numbers.
But so you say that your wallet that is open source, that's only for mobile, right? But if I want to use this on a website and I want the user to be non-custodial, how do I do that? We're using to have like a wallet, right?
Yeah, so our wallet, our application is called Sum. And what we build is not only a wallet. You can see a screenshot here. It's pretty straightforward. You can see your XRP balance and see your other tokens that you hold on the XRP Ledger. You can swap them, so you can trade on the decentralized exchange. You can send funds, receive funds, like all the things you'd expect and more. And then for developers, we have the Sum SDK. It's another package available on npm, where someone can basically composes and sends a a transaction template to our platform, and then you'd get a QR code, or you can even send a push notification to a some app user, and then the user gets a panel like, hey, this application asks you to sign this transaction. Do you agree? And if you agree, you swipe right. Then our application signs locally on the device of the user and broadcasts the signed transaction to the XRPL.
Got it. So basically my website generates transaction, then I push it to through you to the app users, and then they can sign it, and then it gets broadcasted, and then I get some kind of status back to my front end.
Exactly.
I can display.
Exactly. I can show that if you like, now or later.
Let's do some demonstration. And I think this is so important to get this wallet adoption, because that's the #1 factor that ensures that the ecosystem can grow. Do users have a wallet, or they don't have a wallet? Do they know how to use an app with that wallet or not? And that's good that you guys are focusing on that.
I am going to share my phone screen right now, because this is something you actually want to see on both devices at the same time.
Perfect. Take your time.
So this is my phone. You can see it. Yep. And yeah. And this is what a really simple payment integration looks like. So here's the web page. And of course, this works on mobile as well with a deep link. So from your browser or from another app to our application, the user signs there and you return to another URL. But basically, this could be a checkout or a tip or some kind of interaction with a platform, or I don't know, a platform where you can buy something, exchange something, whatever you want to do on the XRPL. So let's say I want to, the website is requesting for a 10 XRP payment, or in this case, a donation. Then the website redirects, and it actually knows me, so it sends a push notification here. So now I open the push notification on my phone, and I see that it's an XRPL Labs donation with a thank you message from the team. I can now select the account I want to sign with. I see the amount, I see the fiat equivalent, and then I can simply sign and I return, or I close as a user because I don't want to pay for this, I don't trust this, or whatever. I can close it, which is basically minimizing it. So I can always go back to events and then open it again, because there's a sign request pending here. Or I can decline it. And then my browser, yeah, exactly. So at no point in time my secret is being shared over the internet. My secret stays safely encrypted in my phone. And my phone decrypts and signs, and then processes the transaction and sends it to the XRPL.
Why don't you copy MetaMask and just remake it for XRP? Because the problem, I mean, the app is beautiful and it works perfectly fine. But I think the biggest issue is that people need to learn it. Although it's nice interface and it's fantastic, it's still that people, they need to learn it, and that's such a friction. Maybe if you just clone MetaMask, which everyone knows already, but it's for XRP. You have the same, token generation process. Have you been thinking about that?
Well, the XRPL is quite different from the ETH ecosystem and the Ethereum virtual machine and ERC20 token. So if you check how wallets and let's say MetaMask and everything are being developed, that's on top of Web3, and the XRPL isn't Web3 compatible. So we couldn't just clone it. It would need a lot of changes, and another big difference is that if you look at the EVM, a lot of things are, or actually all things are implemented as smart contracts, right? If you want multi-sign, it's a smart contract. If you have a token, it's basically a contract with a ERC20 token. Yeah, if you want escrow,
yeah, so sorry to interrupt, but I mean mainly the design, that it is a browser plugin, they open it up, they see the accounts. Of course, the underlying tech stack is completely different, so it's not comparable. So yeah, forking it does not make sense, but at least something from, it's a browser plugin, user can install it like they do with MetaMask. Do you think that there's some plans to do that? Because although mobile is amazing, I think that so many people, they use dapps today at least on the web, and they're so used to do everything on the web. In the future, probably it's going to be mobile. Everything is mobile. But do you think that's important? Do you agree or do you disagree with that?
I I agree that it adds some like it's user friendly if you work from a browser, but like I just showed you, I was working in my browser and I get a push notification on my phone and I can immediately sign. The thing is that if you look at computers and browsers being compromised, it just happens more often on desktop environments, and it's easier for users to make a mistake there when it comes to security. A phone is a smartphone is a really private device. You always keep it on you, and
Right.
it's much harder for your secret to leak there or to get out or for you to make a mistake because it's your device and you have it on you. A browser. So I've seen attacks where websites basically show a fake MetaMask interface inside their web page. A lot of users would fall for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you look at an application on your phone, it's really hard for users to get confused and do something that harms their funds there.
Makes sense. And so one question I think many people will have is there a way to communicate this message without a trusted party like we showed right now? Because now you send the signed transaction through you, right? And then it'll get into the phone. And while it's amazing for new developers that want just to start quickly, let's say there is some, big company or more, they have their own tech stack, they want to control their own tech stack. Would something like that be possible as well through your app? Or how would they do that if they want to build like
that works.
Experience?
Yeah, what you can then do as a developer is offer the transaction template, which is basically the transaction you want the user to sign but hasn't been signed yet. You don't even know the account address of the end user, the wallet address, is offer that as a QR code. So the entire transaction is JSON inside a QR code, and then some can pick up on that and sign it anyway.
So then they can still use your wallet, which looks fantastic, and then they can sign transactions even that it's not through you. But they need to pick up the camera. Makes sense. Yeah,
exactly.
Fantastic. And what kind of apps do we see? Do you guys see right now that are building on XRP? Do we see some financial institutions, some DeFi, some? I think there is no smart contracts yet. Like you said, you're trying to push for that. Like, what is the state of the current adoption and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, there are no smart contracts today on the XRPL. It's something our team is working on an amendment that would enable that. We actually have a public testnet with smart contracts on the XRPL live today, which is pretty exciting. But there's a lot of testing and development to do before that becomes a real thing. Validators can vote on to get it into the main net. There are some things on the XRPL that would need smart contracts on ETH, but they don't need smart contracts because they're native on the XRPL. Things like multi-signing, a decentralized exchange, issuing tokens, NFTs, rekeying an account, stuff like that. You can do that today on the XRPL without the need for smart contracts.
Nice.
What we see today is, of course, like in all ecosystems, is the speculative side, where it's exchanges being used to send funds, receive funds, trade funds. You can do that on the decentralized exchange as well, but the liquidity is not as good as we'd all like it to be. But I mean, that's got to grow. We see some social media apps using the XRPL, like web monetization, micropayments. There are a couple of plugins for, let's say, WooCommerce, for web shops to be able to receive payments in XRP or issue tokens on the XRPL. So you could accept euros or dollars on the XRPL, which are basically stable coins then, and have people use for e-commerce that way. A lot of fun projects by ecosystem developers, obviously. So there's a lot of work to do, and there's not as much demand for XRPL integrations today as we would like to see. But over time, the low transaction costs and the high transaction speed and everything, and how easy it is for developers to interact, and then hopefully in the future combined with smart contract features, might just attract more developers to the XRPL ecosystem over time. We'll be working very hard to try to make that become a thing.
Perfect. And so looking at Stellar, the way I understand it is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a fork of Ripple, but it was a long time ago. Like, is there still similarities enough for this SDKs to be workable and usable on Stellar as well? Or how is Stellar different now from Ripple?
Well, they made a lot of changes, a lot of good changes as well, I think from an end user perspective, they're quite similar today. We decided to focus on the XRPL specifically because we actually think it's a good thing that it's also focusing more on enterprise use and especially if you want to focus in the future, which like we want to do on retail and actual payments and cross-border payments. But there's not an advantage of one technology over the other today.
Got it. And looking at the current XRP ecosystem, how much is the Ripple Foundation? And sorry if I say it wrong. Is it Ripple Foundation or XRP Foundation? That is
XRP Ledger Foundation.
XRP Ledger Foundation.
So it's an important difference. Ripple is the company in the US, and the XRP Ledger is the technology. And actually, while Ripple has ties to the XRPL and the inception of the XRPL, obviously, today Ripple does not have enough voting rights on the XRPL to make changes by themselves. So there really needs to be consensus on the decentralized network for amendments or changes to the XRPL to get voted in.
So that's good to hear, because I think many people, they just heard, that Ripple, they have a bunch of tokens, so they can decide whatever they want. But you say that although that is the case, number of tokens don't matter. It's more that you have this, governance in the foundation that is the most important, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And yes, they do own a lot of tokens. Most of them are escrowed. They cannot sell them on the open market right now. It gets available over time, the escrow unlock over time. If you look at this website, xrpscan.com, it's an explorer, and they monitor votes and validators as well.
Yeah.
You can see that if you look on the mainnet, there's a whole bunch of validators here. They are on the UNL, the unique node list. It's a list with basically the default trusted list of validators. So you can you can make your own list. You can make changes to that list on your own validator or node that you run on the XRPL. But if you don't make any changes, this is what you will listen. These are the ones you will trust by default. And there are some Ripple validators on the UNL today, but that's this short list. And if you look at how long this list is,
there
are a lot more validators.
All of these that's different companies. I saw like a Swedish internet provider, Bahnhof. So it means that they run a node, right?
Exactly, and they have voting. Like basically, everybody has voting rights, but it means that the others respect their vote as well. And you can see here that validators are voting for lower reserves as well.
Yeah.
And you can see the amendments, the changes to the blockchain, new features, changed features people are voting on. So you can see actually here that our validator, which is on the UNL and is voting for a 10 XRP reserve instead of 20, so lowering the reserve, is also voting for a couple of changes to the protocol.
Yeah. Very interesting. And so can anyone be a validator, or how does this process work?
Yeah, you can run a Docker container or just install the Ripple package today on a Linux machine, and then you have a validator. You will also vote. You can vote on these amendments. You can vote on the fees, etc. But there's no trust relationship, right? So others don't trust your validator yet, don't respect the votes of your validator, so you're just basically screaming in an empty space. So you would have to build that trust, and other validators would have to add your validator key to their trusted list to actually be able to make a change. Be part of a change, be part of consensus.
Got it. So let's summarize this discussion with. So number one, anyone can start building today, and to see the flow, you go to that demo site. Can we bring that up again, where you can send the funds? So I mean, before you even start developing, I think it's important that people understand how does this even work. So first and foremost, check the site. It's xumm.dev/try. But for this, you also need the wallet, right? And there you go to xumm.dev, or how do you get the wallet? You go to iOS App Store and download XUMM?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. So download the wallet, try sending funds through this website, and then you have to try to code this yourself, and then you use the SDK, right? XAM SDK to propagate the transaction, and the XRPL client to sign, and also XRPL accounts to construct. So go check those two packages out, XRPL client and XRPL accounts, and then to send the transaction, use XUMM SDK, correct?
Yeah, that is if you want your end users to just manage their non-custodial keys in our application and don't do any key management whatsoever. So let's say you're building a backend system and you want to sign transactions yourself, then you would be able to do that with XRPL client and XRPL account lib.
Got it. Perfect, Wietse. Thanks a lot for being on the show and explaining the XRP dev stack to us. I think this is very interesting. Any final remarks to add to this interview?
Well, I would say if you are a developer and interested in building on the XRPL, check my website or GitHub. There's a lot of sample code there. There are a couple of tutorials for Node and TypeScript coders. So there's plenty of information out there, but it might be a bit hard to find at times. So check my Twitter, Wietse Wind, or GitHub, same handle. And if you have questions, let me know.
You see Wietse Wind here on the screen, guys. So you can find on Twitter easily.
Okay.
Perfect, Wietse. Thanks a lot, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.